Hello, Internet. Authenticity in art and music is something that's been discussed forever. And I just want to talk about it today. How I don't think it exists. I don't know if it ever existed, or at least it doesn't exist in the way that people think it does. So let's start with music. So, with music, when people think about music that's authentic, they think about the artist is talking about things that have actually happened to them in their real life, or it's coming from a real place of experience. And that's great, and that is authentic, and I think hip hop especially is obsessed with authenticity in that way, and that has led me to feel that same way, where I feel like the songs that I make always have to be about my life or about my own experiences or about, the things that I think or things that I've gone through or things that I do. But I think authenticity is kind of hard to fake because if you're faking a persona for art, that is your authentic self. Does that make sense? Like, if I want to make a character that's not me, I completely made it up. That is an authentic expression of art, right? Like, it's something you came up with in your head, it's something that you want to do. So, how is that not authentic? Just because it's not your personal life experience? And I think even if somebody wants to be like, set up by a label, like an industry plant or something, like even if that's what's happening and there's like something else behind the music other than just the artist's drive to make music, that still is authentic because they're just making a product. They're making themselves into a product sometimes, like, and even if someone's being completely fake and they're lying, they're outright lying about their experiences because they want you to believe them. They're not being open about it being a character or about it just being art and not real life. That in itself is authentic because this is a fake person, you know? This person is authentically fake. So obviously, that's just my definition and that's how I see it. I didn't always see it this way. I used to have a really hard time making music because I thought that it had to be this most authentic thing where I'm like, oh, I grew up listening to this style of music. So if I don't include that in my music, then that means I'm not making the most authentic music that I can. And sure, if you want to do that, that's great. If you want to like, wear your influences on your sleeve, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's actually really cool. But whatever you make is an authentic expression of you. You know what I mean? Like it may not be what you want it to be. Like say you have to, you're like making a song for a commercial and you don't like the song, but you're just doing it for money and it's not really like your most passionate project that you've ever worked on. That's still an authentic piece of art because you made it for a reason. You made it for yourself. Still, the result is not expression, the result is money, but that's still an authentic expression of you. So I'm of the mentality now where I don't think you can be inauthentic because even if you're being inauthentic, that is you being authentic, if that makes sense. Again, even if you're straight up lying and deceiving people, you are a liar and a deceiver. That's who you are, at least in that moment. So it's like, I don't know. I'm also very of the mentality that I don't believe that bad art exists. Like maybe there's certain techniques that people are not achieving to the highest level that they can, but I don't know. I think everything has its place. Even if one person thinks something is good, then it's good, you know? It's all subjective. And also like if a bunch of people hate it, then you're eliciting a reaction out of people. And that in itself is a good thing that art can do, is just elicit an emotional reaction from people, you know? So I think people's obsession with authenticity, by and large, it does not exist as much as it used to. I think now people don't even care if the music they're listening to is fake. Like, I don't even want to get into AI. I'm talking about human made art still. This might be a different conversation in a little while when AI is just normal and people are just regularly listening to AI music and they don't care. That will happen. Um, but I think at least for now, we're in a point with art where I think people just want to hear good music. And if you make something that people like, they're going to listen to it. They don't care if it's your real life or not. You know, like there's plenty of rappers that talk about stuff in their music that they don't do in real life, like, you know, when it comes to guns or drugs or just whatever their life background is, they're lying about it because they know that that's the product that people will consume and then they will make more money. And if their goal is to make more money, then they're doing what they should be doing, you know? They're achieving their goal. They're expressing what they want to express and getting the results that they are trying to get. So, I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think because I might be a little bit too like left out in the middle of nowhere with my thought process on this. I really don't think there's much objectivity when it comes to art aside from just like I said techniques. But sometimes like doing a technique incorrectly is the goal. You know what I mean? Like I just put a song out and it's blown out, you know, like it's distorted, but that's what I wanted. I wanted it to sound like that. So you could say that, you know, objectively, I didn't achieve a certain level of cleanliness in music that people are looking for, but that's okay because there's going to be people that like what I put out. And it was authentically what I wanted to create in that moment. You know, I don't want to talk about mixing. I already talked about that in another video, but I mixed the song the way I wanted it to sound. I wanted it to sound distorted. I wanted it to sound blown out because that's the effect I was going for the song. And that's authentically what I wanted to hear. I needed to hear that distortion and that like extra oomph to really express the feeling that I was trying to convey in that song. Now, whether it comes across to other people, that's still to be seen, but the execution of what I was trying to do, I succeeded. And I feel like it's an authentic expression of myself. Now, I make plenty of music that I like, but after a while, I'm like, I don't know if this is really like what I am about, you know? Sometimes I make things that are too much like something else. I think partially because I'm trying to learn more about that style of production, let's say. But sometimes it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm in a place where I'm not feeling secure in my own voice and I want to still make something and I want to still create something that I like the sound of. So I'll kind of copy another style. And you might think that that's inauthentic because I'm copying somebody, but in that moment, that's what I need to do. That's what I want to do. That doesn't mean I'm going to put that song out and stand behind it and be like, this is my sound. I personally don't want to do that, but other people do that all the time. I'm talking about rap specifically again, because that's the most into the scene online, especially that I'm paying attention to. And what I listen to mostly is a lot of rap music, a lot of modern rap music. There are so many artists that come out and they sound exactly like another artist. And at first you're like, what the hell? Like, I can't believe people are doing this. I can't believe someone is just blatantly copying another artist and nobody seems to care. But then after a while, I stop caring because if the song is good, I'm going to listen to it. If I want to hear the song, I want to hear the song. You know what I mean? Like, do I think it's corny? Sometimes. And there's sometimes where it's so obvious and so corny that I can't get past that and I don't want to listen to it. But even me, as someone who's like old now, I'll listen to new guys and I'm like, man, this is so obviously a copy of this artist. And at first I'm like, nah, this is lame. But then the more I hear it, I'm like, no, this is actually just good. Because that's always existed. You know, even in like the golden age of hip hop in the 90s with boom bap, there were so many artists that just were copying other artists. You just didn't hear about them as much because it was harder to put your music out and have people hear it. There were so many artists that were just blatant ripoffs and people cared. I think people cared more back then than they do now. But I also don't know. So let me know what you guys think. I just wanted to talk about this week. How do you feel about authenticity in art? Does it matter to you? Does it not matter to you? Do you think it's relevant? Do you think it's not relevant? Let me know. I put out a new video every Sunday. So if you like this video, you can come back next week for a new one. And I'll see you next week.